Today we are going to make my famous sweet and spicy glazed ham. This is not your mama's glazed ham. You don't need toothpicks to keep the pineapples and cherries on this ham because I make the most amazing glaze and it sticks right to the ham. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, please click like and subscribe so you don't miss when I post videos. And if you are returning to my channel, thank you so much for the support. Please tell a friend, especially if they are trying to find recipes that are low sugar or if they're trying to watch their A1C. I am trying to gain 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I need your help. Without further ado, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and hop into my recipe to make this most amazing sweet and spicy glazed ham. First, we're going to start with a can of crushed pineapples and 100% juice. I'm going to drain about a half a cup of the pineapple juice in this Pyrex cup, and I'm going to set that aside. I'm using sugar-free orange marmalade, but if you're not sugar-free, feel free to use a jar of regular orange marmalade. The brand that I'm using is Chalk Zero, and I'll have a link in my description. I'm using 6 maraschino cherries. Please get the no high fructose corn syrup, especially if you're watching your sugars. I have 1.5 teaspoons of ground cloves, 1 jalapeno pepper that I'm going to chop and deseed, 6 maraschino cherries, 1 12-ounce bottle of 0 Reed's ginger beer. If you're not sugar-free, you can just use regular Reed's ginger beer. And I'm using my Boca Sweet brown sugar substitute. First, I'm going to start by chopping up my maraschino, 6 maraschino cherries here. I've already chopped and deseeded my jalapeno peppers, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to chop this really small and set this aside. So here's everything you're going to need. You have the orange marmalade, the chopped cherries, you have the chopped jalapeno peppers, the sugar-free brown sugar, the 1/3 cup of the crushed pineapple, the ground cloves, and the 1/2 cup of the pineapple juice. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open up this Reed's sugar-free ginger beer, and then I'm just going to, set this all aside. We're going to make room for the star of the show here. So I am using a 10.5 pound ham, and what I've done is I've taken some toothpicks and I just kind of put them all around the ham. I want to keep the spiral slices together, and then I just kind of want to have the ham kind of lifted up where it's not touching the pan. I'm going to start by, pouring my ginger beer all over the ham. Going to do the same with the pineapple juice, and this is going to work twofold. It's going to add some flavor. It's going to build up steam for the ham because we want this ham to be really juicy and not dry. I have 4 sheets of foil. I'm going to wrap this around the entire ham, so front, back, and both sides. And I want to just kind of build up like a little tent because as that pineapple juice and ginger beer is flavoring the ham, it's also going to add steam to keep it really juicy. And this foil is going to lock in the juice and won't dry out the ham. I'm going to preheat my oven. It's already at 325, and I'm going to go ahead and place this ham in the oven, and I'm going to bake it for approximately 3 hours and 15 minutes. So while the ham is baking, we're going to go ahead and make the glaze. I am going to use about 3/4 of this jar of orange marmalade. I'm going to just spoon this out, and I'm going to need about 1/4 of this jar for the end of the ham. So just going to take out 3/4 of this jar, and I'm just going to start, blending this, and I want it blended until it's kind of smooth. Now, if you're using regular orange marmalade, it's going to be a little more thicker. We're just gonna have to keep, stirring it to smooth it out. But yeah, next we're gonna, stir in our crushed pineapples. We just want to well incorporate those and, move those around and spread those out really, really good. We're gonna mix it really well. Next, we're gonna stir in the maraschino cherries. Just want to well combine everything. I'm going to use half of the ground cloves. Just going to save the other half for the end of the recipe, and I'm just going to well incorporate all of the ground cloves, the cherries, and the pineapples. Next, we're going to add in the jalapeno peppers, and we just want to make sure that they are stirred in to this mixture really well. We want everything well blended and well combined. At the 1 hour mark, you want to take the ham out of the oven, and we're going to uncover the foil and just kind of set it aside. I'm going to start adding the first layer of the glaze mixture to the ham. So I'm starting with the spatula, but the spatula, I don't want it to be too hard and make the pineapples, the peppers, and the cherries come off. So I think I'm going to just, I'm going to switch this and get me a brush, basting brush. So I'm going to turn the ham over on its side. Got my basting brush here, and we're just going to go ahead and start putting this glaze all over the ham. You want to go on top, make sure you got it on the sides, and just really incorporate this glaze really well. Get down into the slices, you want to just make sure that you're getting it completely all over. Now I'm going to just flip the ham back over, and I'm going to completely cover it again with the foil, and then I'm going to put it back in the oven, and I want to bake it for 1 more hour. So I'm going to do in between each hour, since I'm baking this approximately 3 hours. At every hour mark, I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to add some glaze to it. Okay, so now we are at the 2 hour mark, and just going to carefully remove the foil. And the pineapples and jalapenos have cooked, and just going to go ahead and repeat that process, adding this glaze. We're putting yet another layer of the glaze on the ham. I'm going to put it on top. Make sure you're getting around the sides and the edges really good. Just really, really cover this ham in this rich glaze. Going to turn it over on its side, and then I'm going to continue that process, making sure to get that glaze down inside of those spiral slices. We really want to get those pineapples and the jalapenos and the ham really good. So just continue the process. Go between each slice and just really, really incorporate that glaze. While that glaze is in between the crevices of this ham, it's going to cook those peppers and add flavor in between each layer. And because this glaze is thick, it's going to stick. It's going to really stick to the ham. So I'm just going through each layer, making sure that it's completely covered in this glaze. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the ham over. I'm going to start covering it with the foil, but I see that I need to put a little more glaze on that bottom half. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that really quickly and make sure that I have it all along the sides and on top here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and resume, covering it with the foil for this last hour of baking. Just going to make sure that the foil is secure. We definitely want to keep it, very juicy. So I'm going to put it back in the oven for the last hour of baking. Okay, we're going to very carefully remove the foil. There's steam, so be careful. I keep my gloves on for this whole process because it's hot. I'm handling sticky glaze, so this looks really good. So what I'm going to do is use the foil and flip the ham over on its sides. And I'm going to take the foil and I'm just going to remove it and set it to the side. Now that quarter of the jar of glaze, I've taken that and I put in the remaining amount of the ground cloves, and I just kind of mixed it really, really well. And that is what I'm about to use to finish the last part of this recipe. So I have the orange marmalade that was left over in the jar. I've put about a tablespoon of the crushed pineapple because you will have more than enough from that can. So I just put that in there. Let me grab the brush. I think that's going to be better So I used a quarter of the jar of the orange marmalade that was left, a tablespoon of crushed pineapple, and the remainder of the ground cloves. Now, this is the glaze that is going to stay on the ham. We're going to broil this, right? So I've already set my oven at 500 degrees. And what I want to do is just generously spread this glaze on the ham. So you want to get all over. You want to, get inside of the crevices. You want to get along the side of it. You want to turn it around if need be. You just want to make sure you get it all over. So I'm going to turn this around. Make sure I get the other side as well. You just want to get all over it. Really coat the ham in this glaze. The cloves smell so good. And I know you're probably saying, like, where's the jalapenos and where's the cherries? Don't worry, you guys. We aren't done yet. Just generously cover it. In every crevice of this ham, you want to get this pineapple orangey glaze on here. Now, since you have it completely covered in the glaze, what you want to do next is you want to grab your brown sugar. Now, this is more of a granulated because it's sugar-free, but if you're not sugar-free, this is when you would just really start crumbling and adding your brown sugar. Because this is granulated, it's really free-flowing, so you can just sprinkle it all over your ham. And what it's doing, it's really sticking to the glaze. So you all know what's going to happen when it goes back in the oven under the broiler. It's just really going to caramelize and stick to this ham. This really, I want you to take a look at how that sugar just really sticks to the glaze. So I'm going to return this to the oven uncovered, and I'm going to bake this for about 15 minutes, but I'm going to watch it because I don't want it to burn. And here it is. It's caramelized and it smells so good. So now we're going to baste it at the end. And we're going to do this. We're going to do this right before we serve it because we want to completely get these juices right into the slices. And we're going to add those cherries and the jalapeno peppers to the top. You guys, just look at how this is just amazing. It smells so good. The cloves, the pineapples, the orange from the marmalade. So just completely take your time and just baste this. I did this for maybe about 5 to 8 minutes. I wanted to make sure I really completely got the juice down in the crevices of the slices. And then I wanted to make sure that I picked up those pineapples and jalapenos, because once I transfer this to my serving platter, I really want the pineapples and the jalapenos and the cherries to be on top. As you can see, it's already looking amazing. You see the pineapples and the cherries and the jalapenos have added more color. Last but not least, we want to remove all of the toothpicks that were holding the slices together before serving. You all, look at this slice. Look at how the glaze just has the pineapples and the jalapenos sticking to it. And here you have it. Delicious, sweet and spicy glazed ham.